Femme Fatale flashback. This episode begins with La Parfaite Caroline making her Femme Fatale debut, spraying the spray into the face of sweet Cherrie. Cherrie showing Caroline exactly how she feels about that. Violating some of the sanitary guidelines that La Parfaite Caroline likes to follow in her life, but sweet Cherrie at the side suplex covers, only gets 2. Sweet Cherrie making her Femme Fatale debut at Femme Fatale Volume 3 was defeated by Calamity in a tournament matchup. They're going to bounce back, taking on a very capable competitor in La Parfaite Caroline, who's doing what she does best, and that's, setting the matchup at her pace, her stanzas. Likes to talk that trash for sure, likes to keep things nice and comfortable for her. Doesn't like to get a little too overzealous. Sweet Cherrie locks hands with Caroline, applies the pressure. Caroline with a stomp, points to the smarts. Cherrie with a stomp of her own. Sweet Cherrie forces Caroline into the corner, throws the follow-up punch, whips her to the opposite side. Charges in, gets nothing but elbow from Caroline. Caroline with the arm twist, the kick to the body and the back of Sweet Cherrie. Back and forth goes Caroline. Trips up Sweet Cherrie. Cherrie sits up, leaves herself well exposed for that kick to the back from Caroline, and another one. Caroline repeated kicks to the back of Sweet Cherrie. Comes off the ropes, hits the flying neck snap. Takes a few moments before covering, and then Sweet Cherrie able to get out of it, goes to the crowd for the added support. Cherrie trying to get to her feet, but Caroline staying right on top of the action. Plants the arm of Sweet Cherrie behind the back. Caroline drops down. Puts her boot up to the back of Sweet Cherrie, pulls back on the wrists. Sweet Cherrie yelling out in pain before getting launched by Caroline. Parfaite Caroline and Sweet Cherrie, both wrestlers been around the Quebec scene for a long time. Sweet Cherrie being more on the favorable side of the fans. Parfaite Caroline not really caring about the fans' opinions of her and her antics in the ring. Sweet Cherrie finding herself in the corner. Chop from Caroline, that mean look on the face of Caroline. Follows up with another chop to the chest of Cherrie. Cherrie blocks, puts Caroline in the corner. Now Cherrie unloading on Caroline. Sweet Cherrie whips Caroline. Caroline slides out of the ring, almost takes out a ringside cameraman in the process. Cherrie following outside. But baited in well by Parfaite Caroline. Side Russian leg sweep into the side of the ring. Caroline follows up by sending Sweet Cherrie into the guardrail. Follows up, sends Cherrie into the guardrail once again and again. Turning up the aggression on the outside of the ring is La Parfaite Caroline. Cherrie in a lot of pain, a lot of trouble. Caroline sees Cherrie placed out in the chair. Caroline steps up and steps on the throat of Sweet Cherrie. Referee Baquet trying to get some order and control. Cherrie sends Baquet aside, then clubs the back of Caroline. Cherrie puts Caroline into the guardrail with authority. Baquet following. Caroline takes the chop while leaned up against the guardrail. Sweet Cherrie continuing the assault on the outside of the ring on Caroline. It was dangerous, though, trying to go that way with the stronger, tougher Sweet Cherrie. Caroline trying to head to the backstage area, but Sweet Cherrie broke up the count, meeting her up there on the ramp. Another hard club to the back from Cherrie. Caroline set up on the entrance ramp. Sweet Cherrie kicks Caroline down the ramp. The count going once again by Baquet. Caroline finds her way back into the ring. Sweet Cherrie back in. Caroline falls right to the canvas before Sweet Cherrie can do anything else, but Cherrie looking to put things away. Sweet Cherrie gesturing for La Parfaite Caroline to get to her feet. And for the Parfaite Fini is Sweet Cherrie slams Caroline with the flatliner. Cherrie not done. Puts Caroline on her shoulders. Caroline holds on to the rope. Gets some soul food in the face of Sweet Cherrie. Will that be enough? Just barely. Sweet Cherrie gets the shoulder off the canvas. Caroline distracting Baquet. It's like the Windex into the eyes of Sweet Cherrie. Baquet sees it. The Parfaite Caroline takes the victory. The dirty win, though, with the cleaning product. How about that, fans? Well, that's it for this episode of Femmes Fatales Flashback. Thank you for watching. We will be back. Yep.